Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all in a Sapience education. So today I am going to discuss about the energy in a S.H.M. As we know that what is S.H.M? S.H.M is to and from motion. It means that if a body is there and if it is going this and this periodically, so this type of motion is called S.H.M. So I have already discussed all the movement of the S.H.M everything in a previous section or previous part. So today I will focus on the energy in a S.H.M. So let us consider in S.H.M. If in SHM there will be two type of energy that is included, kinetic energy and potential energy, and both will vary depend upon the situation. Let us consider from here any object is moving to and fro, so it will possess some velocity as well as it will possess some stretching. So if object is connected with the spring, so it has some potential energy when it will change its position. So it means that it will must include kinetic energy as well as potential energy. Now since it is in the form of S.H.M, so potential energy in the S.H.M or harmonic motion is what? See here, uh, let us consider this is a spring, this is an object having a mass m, and the spring constant is k. If it has been displaced by x, so the potential energy by this will be half k into x square, where k as we know that omega square is equal to k by m, or k is equal to m omega square. So can we put here k is equal to m omega square? Now x in case of x is a displacement of the particle. So what will happen? X is equal to a sine omega t we can write. So we can write like this, equation can be written like this. Apart from this, equation can also be written like this, because if you don't replace x by a sine omega t, so finally we will get the equation like half m omega square x square. So this is our potential energy. Okay, now let us consider a kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is equal to half mv square, where m is the mass and v is the velocity. As we know that the velocity of the particle in SHM is how much. So let us consider x is equal to, let us consider x is equal to a sine omega t. Now if we want to find velocity of the particle, so this will be dx by dt. So this will be a omega cos omega t. So in place of velocity we can put here, a cos omega t whole square. So finally we will get a equation like this, half m omega square a square cos square omega t. Okay, so half m omega square, it will be a square cos square omega t. So finally you will get the equation like this. So we have got potential energy as well as kinetic energy. I hope you all have understood this topic. Now when we talk about the total energy, so total energy will be equal to kinetic energy as well as potential energy, because it only passes a kinetic as well as potential energy. So in place of kinetic energy, potential energy, what was the equation for potential energy? Half m omega square a square sine square omega t. So this is your potential energy and this is a kinetic energy. Okay, so when we add both the sides, so total energy we will get is half m omega square a square into sine square omega t plus cos square omega t. Since sine square omega t plus cos square omega t is equal to 1, so finally our equation will be half m omega square, half f omega square into a square. So from here what we are getting? We are getting that m is constant, omega is also constant, and amplitude, maximum amplitude, is also constant. So if all three are constant, it means that total energy will remain constant. So the total energy of the particle executing S.H.M will remain constant. Now we can understand it graphically. So let us consider we have we have to find only potential energy. So what is the equation of potential energy? So half m omega square a square sine square omega t. So the potential energy is half m omega square omega square a square sine square omega t. So it is supposed to be square times the sine graph, and this is a constant term. So this is the variation of the potential energy. It is going down here and it will go up like this, and this will happen like this. Okay, so this is the equation for the potential energy, and this is the graph for potential energy. Now let us consider for kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is same. Kinetic energy is it is a cos graph. Why cos graph? See here, kinetic energy is equal to half m omega square a square cos square omega t. So the kinetic energy is equal to half m omega square a square cos square omega t. So it is a cos graph. So definitely cos graph will start from here. So this will we will get like this, and the kinetic energy we will get like this, right? So from here we can understood that as soon as we combine total mechanical energy, so what we are getting here it is as soon as potential energy is increasing, so kinetic energy is decreasing. But at the same time, if you add for total energy, so total energy, this is the total energy, this is the value of half m omega square a square. So this will always remain the constant. Okay, so the total energy of harmonic motion is independent of the time. Whatever time it doesn't matter. So the total energy will remain constant. Why it is independent of the time? Because it has a formula m omega square a square. There is no time factor. I hope you have understood now total mechanical energy. Okay, now let us do some question so that you will be able to figure out easily. Okay, so let us consider a particle executing an S.H.M has a maximum displacement of 4 centimeter. It means that they have given amplitude as 4 centimeter, and its acceleration at a distance of 1 centimeter from its mean position is 3 centimeter square. So they are telling that if y is equal to y is equal to y is equal to 1 centimeter, so the acceleration will become how much? Acceleration is becoming 3 centimeter per second square. So we know that acceleration is equal to what? Acceleration is equal to omega square into y. So from here they have given acceleration is 3 centimeter when omega square is equal to omega square and y will be equal to y is the amplitude. So, sorry, y is the amplitude. So y is value is 1. So from here omega square is equal to 3. So omega will be equal to root under 3. So root 3 radian per second. So we have got the omega. So if you have got the omega, so what we need to find, what will be the velocity? So we know that velocity is equal to root under omega root under a square minus y square. It is omega root under a square minus y square. Okay, so this velocity is what will be its velocity when its distance is 2 centimeter from its mean position. So the value of y is given and a is given, right? So we can solve it. Let us suppose here omega is, we have got omega is equal to 3 root under 3 radian per second. So finally velocity, we have a formula, velocity is equal to, we have a formula velocity which is equal to v is equal to omega root under a square minus y square. So omega is equal to root 3 root under a square means maximum amplitude. So maximum amplitude is 4 square minus y is what? Y is what? This is y. Y is, we need velocity at a 2 centimeter. So in place of y we have to write like this. So it is root 3 into 16 minus 4. This will be root 3 into 12. So it's 3 into 4 into 3. So finally we get 3 into 2. So this is equal to 6 meter per second. 6 centimeter per second. So finally we have got the velocity as 6 centimeter per second. So I hope you have understood this. Okay. Now let us solve this question. A body of a mass 1 kg. So mass of the body is given as 1 kg. S.H.M gives x is equal to 6 cos omega t plus pi by 4 centimeter. So it means that they have given amplitude as 6 centimeter and omega is equal to 100 because it is omega t, and phi they have given as pi by 4. So what is its velocity? So velocity is equal to what? Velocity is equal to what? V is equal to a omega only. So V is equal to a omega. Amplitude is how much? Amplitude is 6. Omega is how much? 100. So this is 600 centimeter per second. So we have got the velocity. Now acceleration is equal to minus omega square y. So omega square means what? 100 whole square into y is what? Y is your, that is amplitude is 6. So this will be 6 of 0 0 0 0 minus 60 is minus 60,000 centimeter per second square. Now what is maximum kinetic energy? Ke maximum. So if you want to find the kinetic energy as a maximum kinetic energy, so from here let us use this formula. Total energy is equal to how much? Half m omega square a square. Since total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Now if kinetic energy is maximum, then potential energy will be equal to 0. It means that kinetic energy maximum is equal to total energy only. So this is equal to half m omega square a square. So why not we put here half m omega square into a square. So it will be half into mass will be 1 into omega square. Omega square means what? 100 square into a square means 6 square. So this will be 18 1 2 3 4 joule. Okay. So it will be 6 is a 36. 36 divided by 2, it will be 18 1 2 3 4. Okay. So this is the not joule. It won't be a joule. Why? Because we have considered uh, we have considered everything is in CGS unit. Okay. So I will give you a task that you should find out what will be the unit. It won't be joule. It will be either you have to divide or multiply it by something so that you will get the perfect answer. So I hope you will do this task. Okay. Now let us solve this question. That is a 13.1. A spring having a spring constant of a spring constant of a spring having a spring constant of 1200 newtons. So they have given the value of 1200 newton per meter. Okay, is mounted on a horizontal table is shown in a figure. A mass of 3 kg is attached. So they have given mass is 3 kg attached to the free end of the spring, and the mass is then pulled sideways to a distance of 2 centimeter and released. So the maximum pull is how much? 2 centimeter. So it means that the amplitude, maximum amplitude A max is given as the 2 centimeter, 2.0 centimeter, and release. Now determine the frequency of the oscillation. So how you will find frequency of the oscillation? So frequency means what? 1 by time period. Let us consider time period, how you will find time period. So you know that omega is equal to 2 pi by t and omega is equal to root under k by m only. We have already derived this thing. Okay. So from here frequency will be equal to 2 pi f only. So from here frequency will be equal to 1 by 2 pi root under k by m. So 1 by 2 pi root under, what is the value of k? It's a 1200 divided by m is how much? 3. So this will be how much? This is 1 by 2 pi into root under 400. So this will be 20 by 2 pi. So this will be 10 by pi. So finally you have got 10 by pi. So you have got frequency as a 10 by pi. Okay. Now let us consider. Now let us consider a spring frequency we have calculated. Now maximum acceleration of the mass. So acceleration A max is equal to what? You know, A max is equal to minus omega square. Why? So the minus omega means what? Root under k by m. So here we have already got omega. How you have got omega? So omega is equal to root under k by m. So here root under k is what? K is 1200 divided by mass is 3. So this we will get as 20 radian per second. So we have got omega, or omega square we will get as 400 into what is the amplitude? Amplitude is 2. So finally we will get as 800 centimeter per second square. It is the acceleration. So I hope you have got the answer. Okay, what is the maximum speed? So v max, we will do this also. So v max is maximum velocity. So v max is equal to, we know that the formula is a omega. So a is our, a is 2 into omega is how much? Omega is your omega we have just now find out 20. So this will be 40 meter per second. Okay, so I hope you have understood this thing. Okay, so now let us go for the another topic. Now we will discuss about the simple pendulum. You know that simple pendulum, it is a just rigid, any suspensions are there. So let us see here. This is any suspension, and this is the bob and mass structure, and it has having a length L. So we will consider this in terms of a S.H.M. So why it is an S.H.M? Because since it is a periodic motion, its motion will get its repeat itself from to and fro, as well as uh, it will go to and fro. That's why we can consider it as a S.H.M. Okay, so in context of S.H.M, we should derive some important derivation. So from the diagram we can see that the string and a bob is at an angle of theta. See here, string and bob is at a theta, and bob is moving in a circular path. So bob will move in a circular path. So there are two types of acceleration. You know that there are radial acceleration. Radial acceleration is in this direction, AR, and there is a tangential acceleration, that is acceleration toward this side, that is AT. So if you talk about the if you talk about the if you talk about the equation in the direction, so whatever forces here, forces are being there in radial direction. See here, in radial direction the forces acting in this direction is what? See, T station is moving like this, and mass due to gravity. See here, this is a mass mg, so this will be mg cos theta. So the mg cos theta will be in this direction. So ar will be equal to, since acceleration is in this direction, so ar will be equal to t minus mg cos theta. Okay, now when we talk about tangential direction, so tangential direction, our force is how much? Force is mg sin theta. Okay, so the force with mg sin theta, so here we can add m into at is equal to mg sin theta, because no other forces are acting here, and here also m into ar is equal to t minus mg cos theta. So these are the two equations. Now since, let us consider, it has a angular velocity of omega, and the distance, this distance is L. So the acceleration in radial direction is equal to omega square into L. Why? Because L is the maximum amplitude here. It will act as amplitude. So now you can understand A radial as like this. AR is equal to omega square into L. Okay. Now in this motion, torque is produced. See here, when it will try to turn, so it means that it will produce a torque. So the torque produced is equal to what? Tangential component, that is mg sin theta. So this is the only component due to which it will try to produce a torque. So torque will be equal to force into perpendicular distance. So let us consider the force with which it is moving is mg sin theta. So I have multiplied this force with the perpendicular distance. So this is the perpendicular distance. So mg sin theta into L. So why we have added a negative sign? So negative sign has been added so that it is a opposing torque. Why? Because it will always oppose the motion. So here negative sign indicates the about the restoring torque. Okay, so it is a restoring torque. Now tell me, as per the Newton's law of rotational motion, torque is equal to I into alpha. Okay, where I is the inertia. I is the inertia. Okay, so this is a Newton's law of motion. So this both equation can be equalized. So if I will equalize, so we will get I alpha as minus mg sin theta into L. So finally alpha is equal to mg sin theta by divided by I into L. Now we assume that theta is very small, so we will get sin theta is approximately is equal to theta. So we have that alpha is equal to minus mg L by I into theta. Okay, so omega, one more thing is that alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is the acceleration, and acceleration alpha is equal to what? Alpha is equal to omega square into theta. So as we have already discussed this thing in a circular motion, so minus omega square into theta is equal to minus mg L theta by I into theta. So from here we have got angular velocity as mgl by I. Okay. Now we know that t is equal to 2. Now omega t is equal to what? T is equal to, see here, omega is equal to 2 pi by t. So t is equal to 2 pi by omega. So just put the value 2 pi by omega. So I will get I by mgl. Okay, now we know that I is equal to what? I is the inertia is equal to m into L square as per this condition. So I is equal to ml square, and this is divided by mgl. So finally we will get time period is equal to 2 pi root under L by g. So if you want to find the time period of the pendulum, so you will get time period as a 2 pi root under L by g. Okay, so I hope you have understood now. Now you can also solve this type of equation. What is the length of the simple pendulum takes a second. So I hope you will able to do this. It will be the homework. Thank you.